all, this is Kelly again, and I have an exciting video to share with you today. I have two exciting things. One is the progress of my craft room. I haven't updated this in a couple of weeks. We've had some family issues that we were uh, dealing with, and so we had to put this off for a couple of weeks. But my husband and I this weekend worked in this room, and in this room, it's especially with the insulation going up, it's getting it was about 100 degrees in there, I'll bet. Um, so we did get part of the ceiling in with the drywall, so that is so I was so excited about that. And I'm sure this next weekend we'll get the other half of the ceiling put in, and hopefully we'll start working on the walls. And we did get uh, some more studding done on those two outer walls, just to for us to be able to put some more insulation in. And the second exciting part of this video is a chandelier that, with the help of my husband, I um, had a inspiration from Pinterest, of course, and so I wanted to share it with you. Um, and as far as inspiration, I saw the picture, and so we kind of had to um, figure it out ourselves how to put this together. But what I did is I looked around our house for the base of the chandelier, and we have this wagon wheel, and it had a mirror attached to it. So I took the mirror part off, and this wagon wheel actually turned out to be just the perfect um, size and for what we were needing. Um, so so the things that we were using with this project is the wagon wheel, which you could use anything that that you like. You could cut out a piece of wood in the shape of a circle, just anything that you might want. And then I picked up some jars from the dollar store, and these are pint size. They actually are going to be the perfect size for this project. I didn't want to get the quart size, they were going to be too big. So I picked up, well, there's actually 12 of them, but I'm only going to need 10 of, of the jars with the lids. And also on Amazon, I found the light bulbs I wanted to use. They were kind of antique looking. They're 2 watt. Now, with this having, mine's going to have 10 lights on it. And so you don't want to have a whole lot of wattage on this. This is going to be more decoration than it is for, lighting. Then at Lowe's, I picked up a swag kit because that's what I'm going to wire it with and use instead of wiring it into the straight into the electric. Because I'll probably want to move it around here and there. So I did pick up a swag light, and that's going to work out really good. You need a drill, and you'll need the kit. I found a kit on Amazon. Um, there's also, you're going to need 4 hooks to hang the chains from, and I found those at a little package of those at the dollar store. Also, I found a kit for a pendulum chandelier on Amazon, and here's a picture of that. Um, and this comes with 10 lights, so that's what I'm stuck with is 10 lights. But I'm okay with that. It's going to work out fine for me. there probably is more other kits that have more, or you could add additional wiring to. But the first thing that we did, my husband helped me with this quite a bit. Um, the kit for the chandelier comes with these circular things that where you're going to hang the wires from, and you're going to want to place those um, however you want them to be. I wanted them to be um, the first row. I'm going to use six um, lights, and then the lower round of lights I will have three, and then I'll have one coming out of the center. But like I said, these little, they're like a clip, but there's they hold the wiring for the light, so that helps you place the light where you want it. And like I said, I'm going to put one through the middle, so I'll have, like I said, six on the first round, three on the second, and then one coming straight from the middle. The reason I left there's some spacing in between um, the like three sets of circular wire holders is because I'm going to add some uh, chandelier crystals to this, so that will be in another video. This one is already going to be long enough, so I didn't want to make that into a super long video. So that's why I placed these the way that I did. They also come with little screws, plastic screws and you'll use those to tighten um, the wires in place so they don't slip. So they come, you'll put one in each one to hold the wire. So that was the first thing that we did. Now, the next thing I did is I took each socket with the wiring. Now, the wiring is really long, and you don't want to cut that just yet, but we've already put this together, so we've cut the wires, but you want to leave them long so you have enough wire to wire it together once you get everything else in place. We drilled a hole in the lid of the jars, and just big enough for the wire to go through. So what we did is ran the wires through the lids, and then you're going to want those to be um, at the base of the socket. So you'll just have, what I did is I just kind of screwed it um, until it was touching, or it was resting against the base of the light. That will keep the lights steady, and um, they won't be like tipped to one side or the other. And then there comes a little round like nut. It's black, but you're going to want to screw that on to hold it tight. Um, and that's what I'm showing you here. You're gonna have to excuse me. I was working in this room all day, and I was hot and sweaty, and I didn't plan to get in this video, but unfortunately I am in it a little bit. So just bear with me on that. So the next thing I did, this comes with the kit for the chandelier, and this is what's going to hold it together, and this is um, where I'll have that center light come, the wire for the center light to come through, and you are going to screw that to the underside, the same side where the other round circular wire holders are, that which is the underside of the chandelier. You'll want to place that in the middle, and if you don't have a hole in your um, in whatever shape or whatever your wood, you're going to have to drill a hole um, through the center of that. In this part of the video, you can see one of the round wire holders where the hole is through the side of it. And once we get the wiring through there, there's a cap that will fit down over that long piece of metal tubing. Then what I did is I ran the wiring through each one of those wire holders. Um, I don't know what the technical word for that or name for what those are, but anyways, I went ahead and put all of my wires through the holder, and um, I didn't worry too much about um, the length that was left that I was pulling through, and until I'll turn it over and measure out my lights and get that symmetrical as far as the length of each hanging light. Oh my goodness, don't pay any attention to me. Oh, it was a hot day that day. But I really enjoyed making this, and I was really excited. It came together really, really pretty, and you'll be seeing that towards the end of the video. You don't want to screw those plastic pegs down into the wire just yet because, like I said, you're going to need to adjust where the wire is going to hang. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over, and it looks like a jumbled mess. And so then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to um, we're going to put the chains on here to hang it, and it'll be easier to measure out the lights while it's hanging. So what we did, we took a piece of the swag chain, which they give you extra length of it, and we connected four pieces of chain all at the same length. And you can close those um, those hooks up closer if you'd like, but since it's going to be hanging, I knew that they wouldn't slip off of the hooks. And here is my tangly mess. Um, but the next thing I'm going to do is I want to start measuring out where my lights are going to be hanging at. So I needed a tape measure for this. Now my first round of lights that are six, there's six of those. I decided I wanted to hang those about 8 inches from the base or the wagon wheel. So I just measured each one of those. And then the second row, or the second round of lights, which were three of them, I decided to just double that and make those 16 inches from the base, or in my case, the wagon wheel. And then my center piece was going to be 24, and actually these measurements turned out to be perfect for what I was thinking. So once you figure out that the length, you want to take the center cap piece, and it has they have 10. In my case, it has 10 holes with little nuts um, to pull the loose wires together so we can connect them. So what you do is you um, connect that to that long piece of metal. I wished I knew the names of these things, but my husband probably would. But so you're going to connect that with a nut, and it came with a little decorative piece. But I decided to use a regular nut because I needed that hole in the middle so I could put my center light straight up through there. This is my first project in my new expansion. uh, my original craft room is so full of stuff I can hardly get in there because I've been getting things to put in this section. And then once you have that on, what you're going to do is you're going to take the loose end of the wiring and stick it up into each one of those holes so it comes out the top. Like I said, you don't want to cut those short until you get to this point, or once you get all of these through there, so you make sure that you have enough wire to be able to connect all these together. And actually, my husband's going to be helping me with that part of the video. So what I did is I ran each one of those wires up through that from the bottom up. And I made sure that they all look symmetrical as far as from the where the wire hanger is into the round piece. I want to make sure it looks symmetrical. I'm so excited for y'all to see this. And then I'll be coming out with a part two once I get decorated. So, so please be looking for that. I was surprised that this project came together so easily, which my husband helped so much because he's real knowledgeable about all this. But since it was a project that we didn't have instructions um, of a step by step, we just kind of fumbled through it ourselves. But I thought it turned out really well. I think we're going to make a second one for inside our house. And when I do, I'll show that one to you too. That'll probably be a little bit different than this one, but I wanted one to have in my craft room. Okay, so once you get all of those wires up into those holes and all of the one, everything looks symmetrical. Um, um, well, then I also placed my center light and measured it to make sure that it was at my 24 inches. So everything was pretty much um, together except for wiring all the wires together and finishing up with the light bulbs in the jars. But now this is where my husband had to help me. What he did is he pulled them all together and then he cut them. Well, we put his tape on them to hold them together, but he cut them. He left about 6 inches coming through the top. Okay, then what he did is he stripped some of um, the outer part of the wiring. He stripped that off and started, and there's two wires in each one, a white one and a black one. So he stripped part of it, the coating off, and he started, we started putting the wires together. And what you're going to do is Um, even the white part is going to have to be clipped off with a pair of wire cutters, and it bears the copper wiring that's inside of those. That's what you're going to be twisting together. And that's what's showing here. Now, what we did is he put them in bundles of like two or three. He did all the white ones and all the black ones together, and then he put to hold those together because we really wanted this to be secure. We didn't want to have any possibility, of electrical fire, but then he used some heat tape, and I'll be showing you that package. He told me that he got that at Harbor Freight, but you can also get it at Lowe's or Home Depot. Um, it's mainly it's going to hold the wires together, and then we're going to twist the copper parts together. And so what we ended up doing is, um, and here's that picture of that heat tape, and you put that on to hold the wires together, but you're still wanting the copper part showing. And then he took a blowtorch and kind of um, put a little bit of heat to them, and they kind of melted together just to hold all those wires together. Um, then what we then after he did that, he finally got all of the white ones together and all of the black together and twisted, and he put the caps on there. And so here it's ready to um, connect with the swag lighting. If you'll see that cord with the red tape on it, that is the end of the swag wiring kit. We ran it through or connected the end of the chain that is on the swag to one of the hooks, and then ran it up to the top where it's going to be hanging from the ceiling. And that wiring also has a white and a black. So what you're going to do is strip the coating off those wires, and you're going to connect all your white and all your black wiring together. And then you put that little nut on there. Which was in the clip before, and this is what it looks like when it's all um, twisted together. So one holds all the white wires and one holds all the black. And so that's all, as far as wiring, that's all that you needed. We are planning on putting an electrical box, and once you add here's my final project, well, before the decorations with the mason jars and the bulbs. I love these bulbs that I picked out for these jars. It was just beautiful, and I was just so happy with it. It just turned out so good. I was so excited. And I'm also going to add, like I said, those crystals. But I just thought it turned out so good, and I'm so happy and excited. I think it's just beautiful. But I want to thank you for watching, and keep an eye out for that next video with the crystals. Um, Thank you again, and subscribe and comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you, and have a great rest of the day.